is the first time I've been single in the age of apps.
Oh.
Which is very trippy.
Okay, how is that going?
It's going good, but I set my age range too high. I go out with people from 23 to 71, and so I have to go out on like 7 dates a day to try to keep the backlog. Like, my arm hurts from swiping.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot.
That's a lot, but at least you're keeping your options way open. You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. Comedians are paid to be funny, but on today's Throwback Mashup show, it's a compilation of 4 guests getting real about sex, while of course being hilarious. Dean McDermott talks chemistry, porn versus fleshlights, and how he and his wife Tori Spelling keep things sexy with 5 kids. Nicky Paris is trying to bring down his walls of intimacy and avoid having his head pushed down for oral, which I applaud both of those things. Margaret Cho deems herself a lifelong submissive and talks about the contours of sexuality and BDSM, all while being bisexual and radically open to different ages. Finally, Adam Ferrara joins me to discuss negative self-talk, effective tools he uses in his marriage, and helps me answer your calls on everything from sexual compatibility to bedroom communication. Listen for the laughs and stay for the sex. Intentions with Emily. For each episode, join me in setting an intention for the show. I do it when I'm recording, and I encourage you to do the same. So what do you want to get out of the episode? My intention is for you to hear from my guests how they're working through their own anxieties and insecurities so they can have healthier sexual relationships, which is just what I want for you. Oh, remember to rate and review the Sex with Emily podcast wherever you're listening. This helps other people find the show so we can help more people on the planet prioritize their pleasure. I also have a new article at sexwithemily.com, 10 autumn sex ideas you'll totally fall for. Get it? Fall for? If you want to ask me a question, call my hotline 559-TALK-SEX or 559-825-5739. Leave me your questions or message me sexwithemily.com/askemily. All right, everyone, enjoy this episode. Nicky Paris was named a comic to watch by the Huffington Post. He's an Italian-American stand-up comedian whose career began in New York City at the age of 17, where he quickly became a fixture in the Big Apple's comedy circuit. Follow Nicky Paris on Instagram at Nicky Paris Bitch. Dean McDermott is a Canadian actor best known as a reality television personality with his wife, actress Tori Spelling, and as a host of the cooking competition Chopped Canada. Follow Dean on Instagram and Twitter at I am Dean McDermott. Dean McDermott and Nicky Paris, I've been doing this show a long time. I hear people all the time. And when they call me and they're like, I've got this, I've got that problem, we never have sex, my husband and I don't connect, and then they're like, we have 5 kids. I'm like, oh my God, well, that's almost like a religion. Like, if you have 5 kids, how do you have time for it? And then you're also having amazing sex too. How do you do that? What's the secret?
It was always there. It was always there. You know, like when we met, it was on. Like the
second you met, you had that sparks flying.
When we met, we met in Ottawa. We were doing a film together. I flew to Ottawa and I met her in the director's office, and we were together from that day on.
Wow.
Like, it was just intense, and it's just that intensity has always been there through thick and thin, kids and no kids. And I just think. I think it's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, it is the exception.
And for people who don't have that, who have kids, you got to work on it.
So explain to me what that looks like to you, that work, though.
Working on it means time for your partner, and sexuality and attractiveness to your partner is not going to find you.
It doesn't just show up one day.
It doesn't just show up, and all of a sudden you're like going, oh, wow, I have all this sexual attention for you. You know, you've got to make time for it. You got to work on it. We're lucky that it's just there all the time.
But all the time, like Tori, if she was here, she'd be like, yeah, every day I want it. Even when I have 3 kids, I'm holding it, hanging off of me. I want it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's just like, I want it. It's like, no, I want him.
Right. But even when she's tired, aren't there ever times though where she's tired or she's not? No.
Both of us are like that too. Like, I'm tired, she's tired, and it's just there. Like, we're blessed. We have it all the time. It's there.
Yeah, that's.
But I encourage people to make time for it, for intimacy, for attraction, for date nights.
Yeah.
Like you have to put some
date
time
nights
in.
are huge. They're so easy too. Just say like a non-negotiable in a relationship. Wednesday nights are date night, or Saturday night, and you get a babysitter, and then you plan it ahead of time.
I mean, sometimes it could be an afternoon. Like you meet for lunch. And, you know, you go for like, we used to go for like these sushi lunches, and it was fantastic. Like we just
get some sake, hang out at lunch.
Hang out, have some sushi, and just reconnect with each other.
Yeah, keep doing the things you love to do when you were dating too.
Yeah, and then when you get back together and it's bedtime, you're like, hey, remember lunch? let's pick it back up. Yeah. And then, you know, boom, there you go.
That's how I always say foreplay starts after the last orgasm. That's what I'm talking about. Like keep that attraction going throughout the relationship. Okay, so Nikki. So here you are on a podcast with Dean, who's having killer sex. He's married, he's got 5 kids, and you have not been in a relationship.
Well, I'm masturbating to their sexual chemistry.
I am too. Who is
we
it?
send them the videos.
We all are. We all are now going to masturbate to their sex life. But sweetie, you haven't had a relationship yet. I feel like I might be able to help you.
Yeah.
Please
help me.
That's why I'm here.
Very picky.
Okay.
He's
and
too
I'm
picky.
very Catholic.
Oh, okay.
And he's a germaphobe.
And I'm a germaphobe, so I have the Catholic guilt. So whenever I do something kinky, I have to like pray on the rosary beads and then like repent on it.
Right. Okay, so you think that it's your Catholicism that's keeping you from the love?
I'm kind of like a germaphobe, but like I really do want to get out there and be with somebody. I've been single for like 26 years. I mean, that's a long time.
When was your last relationship?
When I was 17. What? And it was only like a month. But I have like an emotional wall up, and I work like 25 jobs. But you know, I used to only be into people who looked like me, but I matured and moved past that. And I'm kind of dating somebody now, but he's a head pusher.
Oh. Like, wait a minute. Okay, wait.
These girls know. I heard the gas. She's been there, right?
One of the groans was for me too. I know what you're talking about.
No, he's like, you're sitting there with him, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, and he's got an erection. He's like, boop, pushes your head down.
And let me tell you,
dude, that's offensive. You're like, I saw you had a penis. I knew what to do with it. If I wanted to suck it, I would have.
Right. And can I be a little vulgar? Don't ever push somebody's head, because I've thrown up on somebody's dick.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Or I've thrown up a whole piece of penne.
A whole piece of it. You have to chew your food better, Nikki. That's why you have tummy issues.
And I was upset because that night I ordered tortellini. So I was very confused as to what. If you're listening, don't push heads. Don't
push heads.
Yeah, no. Sam Kinison was a believer in that.
Right.
You know that bit? Yeah, don't do that.
So nothing? Are you trying to unblock? Are you in therapy?
Can you change a head pusher?
Saying.
Can you?
I think that here's the thing. I don't blame the head pusher. I blame society. So I could say that if a head pusher would be open to taking feedback, I think if someone has pushed your head or coerced you into anything that you don't want to do sexually, not like but not in like an aggressive, but they're like, hey, doing things in the relationship, you go, you know what? That doesn't feel great to me. I definitely like going down on you, but I'm going to choose when I want to do it. I find that aggressive. Just give them feedback.
Can I be honest with you? I'm really into looks. Which is a problem. But like that's really like the most important thing to me. And I think it's just because I'm 26 and I'm shallow, I need to mature a little bit. Okay. But right now, the people that find me attractive are like missing 3 teeth.
Really? Are you sure?
Yes.
Where are you?
I find that hard to believe.
I believe that you have.
I think you're just trying to be funny right now.
I think no.
Are you serious?
I think I have a strong personality and it scares people.
No. Listen, since you've been in here like 7 minutes, you have told me 5, 6, 7 reasons why you're not dating right now. You're a germaphobe, you're Catholicism, they're head pushers, they have to look like you have all these really stringent things lined up, they have to meet all these things. And that's why you're never going to find someone, and that's because you have a wall. And if you have all these rules about it, you'll never have to find love.
Okay, what can he do?
Well, he's
have a
starting
threesome
today.
with Tori and Dean?
Yes, take a number, dude. Listen. Listen, I think I know we can all joke about being blocked and shut down. I've been chipping away at my heart my entire life, to open it up.
The corazon.
So a little therapy. What did you say?
The corazon.
Yeah, exactly.
For your Spanish listeners.
We all do it. So I'm just saying, if you really want to find love,
I look at fingernails. I look to make sure the fingernails are clipped. You know, little things like that. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, so how's that going for you?
Not well.
Right, exactly. So you guys sorting this out on your podcast a little bit?
Trying to.
Yeah, we all take a Midol and just cry.
But yeah, so you have time to find someone. Are you craving sex right now? Have you ever had sex?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so
there's a bear shit in the woods.
I don't know. I think a lot of
people... You're having sex frequently?
Not. It's been about. I have sex about once or twice a year.
Oh,
Nikki.
I wouldn't say it's frequently.
Nikki, baby.
Do you think the podcast will help you out? Maybe?
No. No,
yeah,
maybe.
we've been putting it out
Not
there.
so
We've
far.
had no calls,
So far, not so
no
good.
calls whatsoever.
You could donate to my love life at GoFundMe, Daddy Issues Show.
Please, somebody call in on this show for Nikki, please.
Okay, so why Daddy Issues for your podcast name? I mean,
well, I'm a daddy of 6.
Yes, you are.
Adam is a new daddy, and Nikki still needs his daddy.
Oh, he's trying to fight.
So we have a different perspective. I'm the sage, and Adam's the new daddy who needs help, and Nikki is just.
I don't know how to change a tire.
He's a fabulous gay man.
I'm catching spiders. I just found out how to do like my taxes. I just found out what a mortgage was
You're
like 6 months
years
ago.
Old. Yeah.
So they're like my older brothers.
That's good.
And our
Like
parents
today,
have scarred us each in our own way.
Well, yeah, that's why
Yes,
they're here.
yes.
That's why we have parents. Our parents are here. We're here to work through our issues with our parents. Talk to me about your anal beads. Do you have anal beads? Do you like toys?
We do.
We brought you some
We
toys.
do.
That's why I didn't know what you had already.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait, just wait.
Oh, my
You're going to
goodness.
leave with a really good. We could even maybe.
Are you going to try it out on him?
Did they tell you that? It's sex with Emily.
No, they told me that, but I didn't know we were getting getting toys.
Yeah,
What a
you
day for toys. We had Lisa Ann on our show today.
I know Lisa Ann. Did she give you her fleshlight?
She gave me her butt fleshlight. So I have her.
She's a butt
I have her
fleshlight now.
butthole.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
You have a butthole.
It was very lovely of her.
Yeah, that's
And I'm a
sweet.
big fan of the fleshlight, by the way.
Wow.
And
Do you use it with Tori?
Yes, a couple times. I don't use it a lot because our sex life is killer. But the odd
No, it
time-
doesn't mean it's the additive.
No.
I'm just saying
And
to
she's
clarify.
It's really it's hot when she uses it on me.
Yeah.
But I'm just a big fan of it, and we touched base on it today. It's like, look, if a fleshlight or a real doll are gonna help you fulfill your sexual fantasies and stuff, you're not gonna go out and do weird shit.
Yeah.
I
think if you're
just
more
think-
satisfied in your relationship sexually, and toys can do that, because people get bored with the same partner, the same thing over and over again.
But even if you can't get a date, if you're happen to be that person, like I just think if you have this outlet, I think suppressing your sexuality breeds weirdness.
Yeah. Your sexual desires.
Your sexual desires.
Yeah.
So I just think if you
Jeff
have
Epstein.
if you have an outlet like a fleshlight or a real doll, like I think that helps curb it, and you're not going to do weird stuff with it.
Right. And I love that you play with it with Tori, because like, let's say, which is what I love about things like masturbation sleeves for men, is like sometimes you don't want to give a blowjob or hand job. You can even sit there on your phone with one hand and she could be like jacking you off with a fleshlight. But everyone's getting happy. Everyone's getting their needs met.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
And I need to
Can
sweat
I ask
on
you
you
a question
and
on
fart on
sex
you.
with Emily?
Yes.
Is your dick as big as I think it is? Because you're like 7 feet tall.
That's a good question. That was my next question. Thank you, Nikki. You could be my co-host.
Oh my God, I would love that.
I
Let me know when. Can I get a fuzzy chair?
No.
Fine. Whatever, Emma, whatever you want. I'll sit in the corner.
No, I'm hung like a light switch. God is a cosmic joker.
Because when Tori was on her show, she had a limp. So I've just been wondering since that day.
She's happy with his penis.
Yes,
I would
She
say.
is happy with it.
She's
yeah.
happy with everything.
I can't do porn, put it that way.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't be a candidate for porn, but I've had 0 complaints in the 100 some odd women I've been with.
Hundreds of
Ben
women.
Franklin loved his dick, is what he was trying to tell.
Abraham could just not get enough of it.
Okay, you guys, I got to ask you the 5 questions I ask all of our guests. Ready? And
Okay.
they're rapid fire.
Okay.
There are quick keys. Ready? Biggest turn on Nicky Paris.
Face.
Biggest turn on Dean McDermott.
Oh, vaginas.
Biggest turn off Nikki.
Not being cleanly.
Okay. Then what makes good sex?
When it's on my terms.
Good
Connection.
Sex? Something you would tell your younger self about sex.
Do some more sit-ups.
Dean.
Stop worrying.
Okay, number 1 sex tip.
Make sure there's towels and a Xanax close.
Number 1 sex. Oh, go down on your woman like the cure for the disease you have is in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Dean, I love you. That's amazing. Nikki, love you too. You guys check out their podcast, Daddy Issues. It's at Daddy Issues Show. D. McDermott on Instagram and Twitter. Right? This is all going to be on our show notes. Nicky Paris Bitch on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, we're going to hear from our sponsors, but when we come back, I'm talking to the hilarious Margaret Cho about her experience practicing BDSM. BDSM stands for bondage, discipline, dominance and submission, sadism, and masochism. It's a whole language to describe consensual power exchange. If you're curious about BDSM, check out our blog on our website, BDSM, A Beginner's Guide to Kink. Be right back. Margaret Cho is an American actress, musician, stand-up comedian, fashion designer, and author. Cho is best known for her stand-up routines through which she critiques social and political problems, especially regarding race and sexuality. Find Margaret on Instagram at Margaret_Cho and Twitter Margaret Cho.
Hey.
Hi, Margaret. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah.
You are here to talk about you've got a lot going on. Your podcast, The Margaret Show.
Yes.
And you were here one day and your dog ran out, your cute little dog.
She's right here.
And we met. And then I was like, oh, that's Margaret Cho. And it was so sweet because I actually have been a fan of yours for years. I lived in San Francisco from in the early 90s to about 5 years ago. And so I went to the Castro and saw screenings of your films, and I've just been a fan forever.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
I'm so thrilled to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Yes.
Thank
You're
you.
truly a pioneer.
Oh. Well, that's awesome. Thank you.
I feel like, I was like, oh, Margaret Cho, yes, I'm excited to see you. So tell me about your show. Like,
being Korean is like really trendy. So just kind of talking about that and talking about like how familiar all of this sort of thing feels of like seeing Parasite and seeing like all the stuff going on around it. It's very exciting. So some stuff about that. I'll do a little music on Thursday. I'm writing songs again, which is really great. And that's Largo. I'll do Largo on Thursday, which I have a monthly there, which is so fun. And lots of stuff about sexuality and lots of stuff about being, 51 and being sexual and kind of trying to figure that out. Like, this is the first time I've been single in the age of apps.
Oh.
Which is very trippy.
Okay, how is that going?
It's going good, but I set my age range too high. I go out with people from 23 to 71. And so I have to go out on like 7 dates a day to try to keep the backlog. Like, my arm hurts from swiping. Like, there's a lot.
That's a lot, but at least you're keeping your options way open.
It's like super open. I mean, there's something to learn from everybody. And also, like, I am bisexual, so I love men and women. And there's a lot there too. It takes a lot for me to want to be sexual with somebody, though. So it takes like quite a lot of like discussion and negotiation, and I don't mind that, but some of the younger people do. Like, they don't want to talk. And now I think like my idea is that I'd like to remain single for the rest of my life because I've been in relationship enough.
Yeah.
And I don't want to define as having a partner, but there's got to be ways of companionship that are meaningful. And I think like, and now everybody's so invested in, they all just want to smash.
Yeah.
And they want pictures. And I'm like,
I know. I don't know. I hate the pictures.
I'm like,
I'm not sending pictures.
Yeah, it's hard to send pictures because, I mean, they all want the dick pics. I mean, dicks are a thing and pussy is a place. So it's really hard to photograph because first you have to do landscape mode. And then it's like hard to light. Like, it's like so many things. Like, and it's just, I'm not down with taking photos. It takes too long.
Yeah, you have to, exactly. But I guess what people do today is they already have their arsenal of photos. So if someone asks for a photo, you just send it. And you have it ready to go. But what I've also learned is you can check the date step. So you take a screenshot of it so they assume you're just sending it. I've learned that from people on my team. So I mean, if you choose to send photos, but I think you just send what makes you, if you want to, whatever makes you feel sexy.
Yeah. It's like when you're just sending like disembodied genitalia, it's like, what is going on?
It's not, I don't want to see a dick in the wild. Like, I don't know this dick.
Cares.
No, I want to know that we have an attraction. We have like a mental capacity where we're like into each other. But how do you know then when you're attracted to someone? Like, what is it? Like, if you are dating online, is there like a certain things they can say in the message, or when you first meet them, do you know?
I guess it depends. Usually I like to have some extended conversation before we even meet. You can't really see that much in a photograph. I'm also attracted to a wide variety of looks. So age is never really going to be an issue. Looks are not going to be an issue. It's really about how we communicate and sort of like what's there to say and like what's there to say between each other, and like, is that sexy? And then there's ways to sort of like have a relationship. Like, for me, I'm very involved in BDSM. So there's relationships that I have that are pain only, that are not sexual.
Okay.
That are very close and intimate, but they don't cross a certain boundary. And that I appreciate too. So that kind of leaves me open to be sexually intimate with people. And I think like my sexual intimacy with people that's really limited, because it's like, okay, that's a rare connection that I'm not going to have with a ton of people. And so I save that for something really special. But I think dating is really about finding out who you like hanging out with. That's not always going to include sex at the end. It's not always going to include a restaurant or some movie or whatever. It can be just sitting and talking, which I think is the best.
That is the best. Someone that you want to sit and that you're having a good conversation with. So I did see you in the Sex Explained episode talking about BDSM. What part of it are you into? Are you dominant, submissive?
I am a lifetime submissive, and I'm learning now to be more dominant. I have higher education where I do a lot of like shibari. So I'm doing Japanese rope bondage, and I'm trying to learn how to be very good at that. But there's more to it than just knots. Yes. It's like a state of mind. Mm-hmm. And like for me, like that element of like sort of being a dominant has been very challenging. So, I'm like trying to learn how to do that better. But at the same time, I have a few relationships. The one woman in particular, she's a lot younger than me, so it's like super weird because when we're out, everybody's like, "Is that your daughter?"
Right, that's fun.
It's like, you guys look exactly alike. Who's the mom? Who's the daughter? It's like the Judds, and it's weird. It's weird.
Oh my God, right.
And then I'm with another woman who's a little bit she's my age, but she's definitely different, and so it's like so unexpected the universes people have within. And you could take any package. So you don't really know exactly who they're going to be. So I like to really spend time and talk to the person.
Are these people that you've met on the apps? You've met them through friends?
The BDSM relationships I had, I've had referrals through other lifetime lifestyle BDSM players. Okay. Also, I've met people through events all through LA and San Francisco and New York. And that kind of part of it has something to do with being around the lifestyle for my entire adult life.
You have.
San Francisco especially.
Yes. That was a good time. I didn't really get into all that until, maybe I dabbled until I moved here. But it was such a great place to go out and be kinky.
So much.
Like Folsom Street Fair and all the things. Like we were definitely ahead of it. You're really thinking about the person. It's like being like, am I attracted to this human? Or sapiosexual? Is it their brain that turns me on?
Yeah.
But it sounds like you have a lot of different people in your life now to fill all the different spaces.
Yeah, it's weird though because like gender seems to recess a little bit because I can see sort of the elements that create a person that don't really like even include gender, that are sort of like more about what's in your heart and even how that presents, if that presents more masculine or more feminine. It's right. And it is that sort of that old sort of thing of like, I am attracted to the person, but that's not exactly it either because there's so much about gender that informs our personalities and our nature. So it's more that I seek something very special that is hard to define, that doesn't necessarily have to do with how we identify as a gender.
Yeah. No, I understand that. It is more about energy. Mm-hmm. So right now you're with two women. Mm-hmm. Or do you feel like you are, as you've gone through a lot sexually, that you're able to ask for what you want?
Yes.
Right away? Do you even lay it out right away?
Well, no, I kind of let it sort of slowly build. Well, with the BDSM relationships, it's very simple because you have to negotiate that. You have to talk about it and like really get very detailed, which I appreciate. And it's sexy, too.
It is.
Which I love. And then the heterosexual relationship that I have, it is definitely like a plan of sort of like discovery and just talking. And I think it's really fun. Like it's really, to me, that discovery is just as sexy as the sex itself. So, everything about this is lovemaking. It's not that you have to like say I like this, I like that. It's like, well, the explanation of the things that you enjoy say a lot about you. And I think that to be able to share that is incredibly erotic, but also really intimate and really beautiful. And when you can be that vulnerable, you become very strong. I think there is a part of me that is asexual in certain ways.
Asexual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That I do have sort of an asexual, aromantic side that comes out sometimes in BDSM.
Oh, interesting. So you're feeling like, so you're not walking around thinking about sex or craving sex, and you never have, really?
Well, I do, but it's never in the BDSM context. So, and it's like, definitely I'm sexual within like a sexual relationship, but if it's a relationship that's pain only, it's compartmentalized in a different way.
Yeah.
So it's not for a sort of romantic purpose. It has a different kind of a feeling.
That makes sense. Are you ever in a relationship though where it's just kind of like, do you get off on just regular sex? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
All of it.
And that's a different aspect to what I desire. I think that that's definitely where it can get much more emotional. What's hard for me is to disassociate sex from my emotional life. And that's why it takes a long time for me to want to have sex with somebody. So I want to talk to them about it and like really get to know them. And also feel like some sense of we're in this together, you know, and then we're not just going to smash and you're going to ghost me.
But don't you feel like you got to teach them that? Especially if you're dating people 23 to whatever, but especially 20s, 30s, even 40s. People, most people are not even, this is why I have a show. They're calling in every night. They've never talked about it. So you talking to them saying, let's talk about sex as the lead with sex must be like shocking.
Yeah.
Why should we have bad sex?
Right.
I've been there.
I've been there. And I don't want to be in like a sexless marriage again. I don't want to be.
Is that where you were married?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like really sad because you can really breed discontent very quickly in what's supposed to be intimacy, what's supposed to be the ultimate. For me in my 50s is about getting real quiet and finding out like exactly what I want and making my life that.
Yes, exactly. So what has been your process for that, figuring out what you want?
If I find something sexy, I want to know why. So I could get into something about feet, like somebody like touches my feet, it's really sexy. And I realize it's because of like my instep and the sort of like connection that it has with the rest of my leg and then in between my legs. So it's like, if you kind of look at the clitoris and you sort of say, where does it start? Where does the clitoris start? I think mine starts actually at the sole of my foot.
Yeah, it might. Reflexology, there's so many nerve endings. Then there's so many points that makes sense.
So I want to discover what that is. And so why is it sexy when somebody is like putting a shoe on and then it's like, maybe it's like that Cinderella thing where it's like the shoe fits and then maybe it's kind of a foot fetishism thing where it's like, if you are on my foot, then maybe it's like you're going to come all the way up. So maybe like my clit is on my foot. But there's kind of like this princess care, like it's like, I'm going to worship you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to elevate you above others. So there's a kind of thing that happens like when you can pinpoint like, well, what is that I like? And then maybe bring that into a discussion with somebody you're having sex with. And that's good.
Yeah, that is good. So you're saying like someone touched your foot and you're like, let's just go back to that and be like, well, it was a light touch and this is why. Because that would make sense too, because every part of the foot, you know, there's so many different places that it corresponds to on our body.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So and then you have to find partners who are down.
Yeah,
like discussing going on that journey with you.
Yeah, but it makes their sex life better. Like it makes it better for both of you. It's like when we can really examine our sexuality and understand it and really like harness it and let's do the things that we like together and I'll take the things that you like and I'll run with them and you do the same with me. It's a beautiful exchange and then you discover more about each other. It's great.
And then you might find things that you like from them too. Like you're like, oh, I didn't think I would like that. And then I would because you're open. But I think finding those people can be challenging. So I love that's what you're open. That just is great for people to hear too, that it's okay if you are differing from your partner. You can find a way to make it work.
We can come together. I mean, there's like so many lies told us by porn that it has to be intercourse and it has to be like mutual orgasms, which is like not real to me.
Right. Like coming together literally.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Weird. Yeah. It's weird. Having a body is funny and dumb and fallible and embarrassing. And so there's a lot of like ridiculousness that comes out of that. But the truth of the body is great. And the truth of what makes us feel sexual is also really important because it's the cartography of what the map of our sexuality is. It's like making that map. Let's make the map and see what it looks like.
Yeah. I feel you. Okay, Margaret Cho, thank you for being here. I got to give you the 5 questions that we ask all of our guests.
Yes.
Are you ready? Okay. Your biggest turn on?
I love awareness.
Biggest turn off?
Cheap tips, bad tipping.
What makes good sex?
Communication.
Something you would tell your younger self about sex and relationships.
It's all going to be okay.
Number 1 sex tip.
Just talk.
Okay, I love it. Okay, thank you, Margaret Cho. People can find you at Margaret_Cho. On Instagram, we have all of this in the show notes as well at sexwithemily.com.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
After the break, I talked to comedian Adam Ferrara, who shares his experience with anxiety and helps me answer a listener's question about attraction. All this and more when we come back. Adam Ferrara is an American actor and comedian known for playing the role of Chief Needles Nelson on the FX series Rescue Me. He was a co-host of the U.S. version of Top Gear and played NYPD Sergeant Frank Farrelly on Showtime series Nurse Jackie. You can find Adam on Instagram and Twitter at Adam Ferrara or on the Adam Ferrara podcast. 30 minutes you'll never get back.
Emily Morse, of course, was one of my favorite episodes, and I'm glad you had me back, sweetheart. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. I love being on yours. We did a podcast swap.
Thank God you're here helping people, and people have this outlet. My issue is I beat myself up. I turn my frustration in on myself, and you should do better, and there's that loop in my head. That's why, meditation, I'm too wound up for meditation. I don't think your mantra should be, look what you did, look what you did, look what you did. So I'll tell you what.
Tell me everything.
Of the things that I found that really, really helped me was the phrase, worry is not responsibility. That got crossed up in my head because my dad was my hero. He was the one that took care of the family, and you wanted to emulate the man of the family. And my father was worried about feeding everybody, who left these goddamn lights on. I mean, it was the whole, it was everything. You never let anyone outside this house know we talk about in here. I'm like, Pop, the windows are open and you're screaming. They can hear you. It was always worrying about feeding everybody and taking care of everything and make sure everybody was protected. It was the projection of my parents' fears on their children was part of it, but the rest was just that, it can be a cruel world and you got to look out for yourself. So I got the message that worry was responsibility because I was emulating the behavior from my dad.
Right.
So when I learned worry's not responsibility, it freed up the fact that I don't have to be this anxious.
You don't have to worry.
I don't have to worry that much to be a good man of the house. So that helped me a great deal. Worry is not responsibility.
Wow,
what do you
that's a
worry
really
about?
good one. I have a different thing. Well, so much like you, Adam, I have the negative self-talk as well. But it's like mine says, it's so funny you're saying this because I went through this morning. I'll take my therapy notes that are right in front of me because you're never done. I worry that I'm not doing enough, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not enough. So the opposite of that is like, I am enough. That would be like the affirmation when you try to flip it. But I do this EMDR therapy about that. So it's like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. I won't be able to do this. And it's constant in my head that I am constantly, I fuck something up. A big one is I'm not going to follow through. And here's something I can say to my whole team here, because this is a big thing about work. I worry that because I'm ADD like you are, and I have been challenged for a long time in getting stuff done and follow through in details. Like I love, like you said before, like I'm good at my job. I love helping people, but can I remember to put the keys back in the bowl? Do I have systems and organization? No. And then I feel I don't always follow through with things, and my team knows that. That's why I have an awesome team. But then I often feel like, they just think I'm not doing enough. So then, this is what I came up with today. Do you mind if I process my therapy with you, Adam?
Please do. Let it out, baby.
That it's okay that just because these things happen to me that I didn't mean to go here today, but I'm not a bad, it's not a bad thing. It's not like people know me, they expect me, I'm a good person, I have good intents, and they probably know, Emily, like that's why my assistant gets a copy of everything. I'm not going to see it or read it. And it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. ADD doesn't mean you're lazy or stupid or not successful, or in fact, that's what makes me unique.
Let me ask you this. When you get something done, do you feel better about yourself?
No. Okay, the other thing is, no, I don't opt for a moment, and then I think of what else, the 10 things I didn't do.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a comic focusing on the one person not laughing. Yeah.
Thank God I can't see everyone's face on Zoom right now. Thank God that I can't see them, because if they're not, right, I would be worried. So
they're plotting against us. You don't trust
them. They're going, what? But that's what I think about. But Adam, I love that you turn into humor and all the things that you do. And I know it's not easy being a comedian and artist, but I think you have a skill.
Intellectually, I know my anxiety comes from future thought of something that hasn't occurred yet, and my regret comes from depression and things I should have done. There was a bit on the album called Anxiety and Depression, where I'm running back and forth between those two energies. That's where that is. To be present in that is to not worry about the future or regret the past. I'm right here, right now. I'm here with Emily and Janae in boxes, and we're having a good time.
Exactly. Do you know, this is why exactly. I've got my yoga pants on still. When you are present, the stuff that you're worrying about in the future and the stuff in the past cannot exist in presence. So do you think that's why you like doing stand-up?
That's the only time I am fully present and you're a vessel is when it's coming through you. When I'm a live audience, no net, I'm improvising and it's just coming through me. I'm not there. It's just whatever needs to come through me will come through me, and you're a vessel to somebody else. And I have most comics can have that spidey sense where they can read a room. You can feel an energy in the room. Like, you get it when you're talking to a guest. You're like, this is going nowhere. You can
exactly. These are the best. Yeah, you got to go. Sorry, Adam. Thanks for being here.
No, but it's book this bastard. I'm dying out here.
That's exactly what it is, Adam. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is true. So then the mic goes off and you're done with your show and then you're with your family or something happens and then you feel, how's it going at home?
Home is great because my wife understands. My wife is best move ever made in this entire world is marrying this woman. I rang the bell. And anyone listening, you're going to Google her and you're going to think to yourself, this guy's batting over his head. You're absolutely right. So she understands me and she becomes the barometer of myself. I need to self-correct if she's not happy because I've done something. My job is to make her life better because I live better in service of, for lack of a better, in service of the queen. You're okay, how do I make this life better? This is my job. It's not about me when I come home. It's about this family that I got to take care of. Here's the thing that works for us, Emily, is I know her crazy. She knows my crazy a lot better, but I know her crazy, and I know the way we function as a unit. Like, I know. If I got to go to the airport, I got to tell her it's a half hour before, and then I know she might make it on time, and if not, she's going to have to pee before we leave. So I'll be right there is at least 15 minutes. So you just got to learn how to communicate. I'll be right there. That's 15 minutes. Don't yell for another 15 minutes. Don't ask for another 15 minutes. And she's going to pee. That's the reason that there's a little settee right by the front door because that's where I sit with the dog looking at it going, it's 15 minutes. Don't be impatient. So she's got to know that. So I know that about her, and she knows that when I can only do one thing at a time because of my ADD. So I'm flying all over the place. So she knows if I'm on the phone talking to somebody, she can't ask me a question. She can't get my attention because I can't do it. I'll fizzle out and I'll short circuit. So
exactly, Adam. That's great. So you just had those communication skills built in, but you had to learn. I just feel like a lot of couples.
I had to learn all that shit.
You do have to learn it, even without therapy. But you guys were willing to work on it. I just feel like we hear so many. Couples call in who've been together 20 years and they still are having a lot of the same arguments they had early on. You just don't learn how to resolve.
I had to ask myself the question. I'm like, I was in a relationship, a couple of relationships before that were at the same point, when I was younger, that didn't work out. But what really helped me with my wife was the difference between have to and want to. It was like all the other relationships I had before my wife was like, I got to do this. I got to do this. I don't want to go and do this. This is like, no, I want to do this. I want to get rid of this because this is worth fighting for. This is what I want. I want to make this better. So when you're coming from want to, you got a lot more energy about you.
Adam, this is good. I feel like I'm getting a second therapy. See, we all need it, right? Even though I go this morning. Adam, this is great. We're going to take a call. We can help out Brianna, 25 in California. Adam's in a successful marriage, and I've got some years here to help. What's going on, Brianna? How can we help you?
I am kind of in a predicament here. I recently broke up with my boyfriend, got back together with him the next day because I felt like it was a wrong decision. But the reason why I did in the first place was because as shallow as it sounds, and it makes me so sad, is that I'm just losing sexual attraction to him. I feel like our chemistry in the bedroom is just off. I've tried telling him hey, I want you to be more confident and aggressive, and he's tried, and bless his heart, I love that about him, but it's just it's not happening. I kind of have been messaging this guy, and I don't see that guy as relationship material. I'm just getting that sexual teasing satisfaction.
Yes.
And I love my boyfriend so much, and that's why it's kind of oh, okay. I decided to stop doing that first of all, but I want to work on that part of our relationship because literally everything is perfect about this guy except he's not my typical physical type, and the sex is just not there.
I get it. Brianna, let me just tell you this. So you're 25 years old. You've been together 2 years. You said this is what happens in a lot of relationships. Most relationships, by the time you get to 2 years, there won't be as much of that passion and that excitement and that chemistry you had at the beginning of the relationship. That's what happens. And so what I do is I help couples figure out, well, how do you talk about it? How do you communicate about sex? I bet he wants to be more, what did you say, more aggressive or more assertive? He doesn't know how. You guys are still, you're 25, figuring it out. So I think that it's always attractive when you're dating someone. This would happen to me. I date someone for 2 years and this is common. And then you meet someone else and then they're really into you. And then they make you get that excitement, those butterflies, that newness that you did not feel early on. And you don't feel anymore with your boyfriend. So you think, well, it must be this guy. So I got to tell you, it's not probably about the other guy. So either you have two choices here. I would say you could go back to your boyfriend, which you did, and you could choose to say, you know what? I realize that we both could work on this together. I don't mean to tell you that you need to just start initiating or doing different things because you have to learn it together. And then you could say, let's figure out together what feels good to both of us. You go to my website, we have something called a yes, no, maybe list. It helps couples figure out what you're both into sexually. It helps that conversation. A lot of couples listen to this show and you're learning too, learning about yourself and your body.
Like, I want someone to like go down on me and like, do some like finger action. He'll do the fingering, but like he won't go down on me. Like just like the biggest.
Well, that's a deal breaker.
And there's right. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And like I even said, okay, like it's because he's a germ. Like, okay, let's get in the shower. Like,
I have a question. Do you go down on him? Do you give him blowjobs?
So I'm a giver, and I have stopped giving him blowjobs and doing hand things. One, because he's never come, like when I give him blowjobs and he says because he gets too excited he wants the vagina. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like that personally never happened to me. Like, where guys never come when I'm giving him a blowjob. But like that kind of was disappointment. But not only that, but he's very selfish in the bedroom too. And I told him, I was like, hey, you're in the bedroom. And I need you to like put me first. And he'll ask me like, what do you like? And I'm like, well, I just like you to be confident and just do whatever you want to do. Like throw me around, like, be aggressive and like whatever I don't like, I'll say no. But like, I just want you to dominate me basically. Right. And he's just kind of not giving me anything to work with. It's sex. Like we can always work on that. But like, because everything else is perfect. I'm like, I don't want to throw away this great relationship when it's just this one thing. Has
it ever been good and deteriorated, or has it never been?
It's never really been good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it.
So that's the issue. You're not trying to fix something. You're trying to create something.
Yeah.
Right.
If it wasn't there in the beginning, you're not going to get it back. Like because he probably doesn't know how. Maybe eventually he'll learn to be a great lover, but the fact that he has a germ thing and he won't go down on you, like, but if he just won't do it, to me, that's just a no-go zone. And now you're not giving him blowjobs.
First of all, the thing that you said, Brianna, that you should be commended for is I was doing this and I stopped because. So you have a vagina and a conscience. Good girl. So, but what if you put yourself in the mindset and ask yourself the question, do I want to build this with him and are you willing to do this with me? That's the question. If you rephrase the question, it's not like you got to get back to something that wasn't there. Do you want to go forward and make this better? Here's what I need. Here's a way we can do it. I'm open to any other way you might have. And then you work on it together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's right.
But it's not a problem. It's something to be accomplished.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an effort. Yeah. That is such a great way to put it. You could say to him, let's do this together because you're both in it together. It's not up to you to figure it out. Because they guarantee you both have a lot to learn, but he has to be a willing participant. I don't know how you sound very evolved. You have a conscience, like Adam said, and a vagina. Does he have the emotional maturity? Does he want to work on it with you? But I think you'll know sooner than later if you word it like that. If he's like, I'm not interested, or we shouldn't have to work on it, then you'll know.
Yeah.
See if he's down, and you guys can figure it out.
And he's
together.
a guy. So the first thing you do is like, listen, I need to learn things about me. Will you help me? Because he doesn't want to know that he doesn't know.
Yes.
Right.
Well, because you don't know either. Let's be honest, Brianna. You probably are still discovering your body and what feels good to you at 25.
Oh, absolutely. That's why, I want to explore things. And, I think in the past couple of years have started getting into lube and, doing different things and different positions and, even trying to masturbate on my own because I'm I'm just not into myself that way. There's no way I can get off. And to this day, that's still, a work in progress, but I feel like it's getting better because I have no other choice right now because I'm not getting any satisfaction right now. But
I think when you enroll the guy, you're like, look at this. Let me show you what we could learn about my body. Let's do this together. That maybe he'd be more down than saying you don't know this and you're, you need to ask for directions here. I don't think that men like to be told that necessarily.
No, I don't even want to ask directions driving. You think I'm going to ask directions for this at 25?
Exactly. Definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah, that helps. Course. I hope this will.
Well, Brianna, I got a lot of podcasts about this. A lot of couples listen to my podcast together and they get inspired, turn it off, go, what did you say Emily said here? Should we try to have the conversation this way or try this position? But I think this is a good first step. Try to have the conversation, see if he's down, and then call me back. Let me know. I'm here for you every night.
Thank you so much.
Of course. You're welcome, Brianna. Thanks for calling.
Take care. Be happy.
I got to ask you, Adam Ferrara, the 5 questions we ask all of our guests.
Yes.
It's our 5 quickie questions.
Go ahead.
Biggest turn on?
The way my wife's hair smells.
The biggest turn off?
The way my feet smell.
What makes good sex?
Communication. I like it when there's a lot going on.
Something you tell your younger self about sex and relationships.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. There's 2 people in this relationship. It ain't you. It ain't just you.
What's the number one thing you wish everyone knew about sex?
It ain't dirty. It's only dirty if it's done correctly.
I love it, Adam.
My podcast is wherever you get your podcast, the Adam Ferrara podcast, and my album's called It's Scary in Here, and I want to thank Emily for having me on to help me plug my shit and have some laugh.
I love it. And I'll have to come back on your podcast, Adam.
Please do.
I would love it. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Be sure to like, subscribe, and give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share this with a friend or a partner. Believe me, if you got something out of this episode, they will too. We release 2 to 3 episodes a week. Find me at Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It's all at Sex with Emily. If you'd like to ask me a question about sex or dating, relationships, email me feedback@sexwithemily.com or sexwithemily.com/askemily. And check out my website. We have so many great articles diving deep into topics like how do I have multiple orgasms? How do I last longer in bed? How do I stop thinking about my ex? What sex toy should I try? And so much more. Sign up for weekly emails. I've been told I give really good emails. I do. Was it good for you? Email me feedback@sexwithemily.com.